when the greats of the game bless your thumbs and your eyes with a brand new track to play and enjoy in this game, you sit down and you listen to what they have to say. Welcome everybody to another video. Today we're going to be playing Hurren's newest release. It's been a hot minute since he's blessed us with something. This is Arboretum or Arboretum. I'm not sure on the exact pronunciation, so hopefully you guys can help me out there a little bit. However, fully custom track from Hurren right here. Very fast, very flowy, and a hell of a lot of big booters, which I'm going to try my very, very best to be getting as steezy as possible over. It's going to be a little bit different today because usually when I record these videos, it's all first impressions. However, I've spent the last 20 to 30 minutes or so already running laps around it just while watching the Seattle race on my other screen before recording this video. So I should hopefully not be too bad and do this this track as much justice as it probably does deserve. So looks good, it flows good, I can tell you that already. Let's get into it. The attire that we are going to be rocking with today is still the FXR/Triumph/ Call of Duty collaboration gear. But then for bike, we have got a very, very old bike in here. This is actually a Bud Racing Rum bike. Shout out 12 Rumsky, rest in peace our fallen soldier. I don't really see him competing much anymore. Don't know if he... Actually, I don't know, he might have tried signing up for GPs for NA the other day, I'm not too sure. But yeah, very, very OG bike we've got here. Just because I deleted all my model swaps the other day whilst trying to install everybody's skins ahead of the first GP round. I just don't really have that many KTM skins, and most of them are like Triumph model swaps and things of that nature, so not too many to work with at all. You know what I've completely forgotten to do? Let's put on track map, speed, and we'll put on the timing and the standings as well, just so you can get all the information that you might need. Oh, and then also finally we'll slap the controller overlay on also, so you have everything at your disposal there. So this triple right here, one of the many, many big booters around this course. It flows so nicely. And then there's some bigger lines as well, so if you downside this nice, get all of the power down to the ground, you can try and get your way up here to this triple. Got some little tyre taps going on, you know me. My favourite obstacle in the entire game is a good old tyre tap. It makes me a little bit happy in the pants when it goes well, although it's very, very easy for it to go wrong. And something that Hurren's done again on this track, which I like that he's done on other tracks, such as his last Baja Brawl release, is there's wet patches around the track as well. Not quite as many as Baja, and there's a big, I guess, difference around here, since most of the track looks like this drier dirt. Then you have these puddles here and there, and it's a weird thing to glaze, but even the puddles look like really, really good and high quality, which is a strange thing. But if you go through them puddles, if you listen, they've got sand sound on them, so they've got sand traction. So if you're leant over a little bit too far, let's say, and you hit one of them puddles, there is a high chance that you do slide out a little bit, which you would kind of expect from real life also. Another thing that I think is really enjoyable about this track compared to some other like really fast and really flowy tracks that we get in this game is the ruts aren't like stupidly unrealistically big to where you just pin it everywhere. There's still a level of realness to them, and the overall layout of them as well, like in that corner there where they all merge to the outside because you're kind of going on a slight off camber downhill. It makes sense. It feels realistic, and you approach the track in a way that you would in real life. I mean, I wouldn't in real life because I'm an absolute pussy on a motorbike. I would not be hitting any jumps like this, especially a big old double this big. If you fill it into the middle as a tabletop, then sure, I'll jump halfway, but doing that whole thing, yeah, absolutely no chance. You need some big old cojones to get around this track right here. It's been a minute since we've had a Hurren track as well. I can't even remember what the last track was that he released, but I don't remember playing one anytime recently at all. And this is something that I've seen him teasing over the last... It's got to be over a week now, I think, on Instagram. He usually puts announcements up on there on little projects that he's working on. If you see, like, we've got banners going around the track as well in various places. He also gives people a chance to, like, be quote-unquote sponsors on these tracks and have their name or their branding shown in the track as well, which you do all through his Instagram also. So it's quite cool. He gets some community involvement in that sense. He builds up hype for the track for a while as well. And for people like me, who just go feral for track releases by him, it definitely gets me interested. It gets me waiting. I'm just kind of sitting there refreshing the shop page each stage to be like, is it out yet? Is it out yet? Is it out yet? And then finally the announcement comes through, and I may or may not be recording this at 4 AM, which is probably very, very foolish, but I'm trying to get more of a rhythm going back again with the uploads. I know I had a little bit of hiatus in there, got burnt out of the game a little bit, but since I'm not really competing much anymore, I feel like I've got somewhat a little bit of a spark back, actually, which is quite nice also. So we are going to be trying to get back on top of things. So, like the GP commentating I really enjoyed. We're going to be carry on doing that as well. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's video, which is going to be a preview video of round 2 of the GPs at Riola Sardo in Sardinia, Italy. I've got the preview video going up a little bit earlier than my normal videos do, but that's only because I'm live streaming in the afternoon, so I like the videos to get as much, I guess, view time as I can before the live stream just completely deads it in the water, because that's how YouTube works. It's a lovely thing. You can put a video up, you can then go live an hour later, and then that video will not get promoted anymore whatsoever, so you kind of have to be strategic with it. This track isn't the most difficult track in the entire world. It's definitely available to all skill ranges. However, I would say if you are proper beginner level, so you're not quite to the intermediate level yet, you might struggle a bit, just because you need to know how to move the bike around in the air, because some of these jumps are really big and you end up having to hold whips out for longer than you'd expect, so you need to know how to control it and keep that whip out sideways before it comes back too soon. Like these ruts where they're not absolutely massive, you just need to be patient, take your time, be gentle on the throttle as well. Then you've got some really fun bits like this where you kind of switch from inside to inside. You need to get your muscle memory locked in, get the memory on point in general, because it took me a handful of laps to even remember where I was going. It's a very, very long track, as you can see by the timer up at the top left there. 2.5 minutes-ish for a lap time, which very, very long. But then also, you can see we can get absolutely disgusting around this track. I'm gonna... don't hate me for this if you don't enjoy this, but some people do ask for third-person laps now and then, and when it comes to tracks like this with some big old booters, it's always fun doing some third-person whips. So we'll do a lap in third person. I might probably mess up quite a few of the ruts going into third person, but the actual jump inside of it is really, really fun. It's always a little bit of give and take for me. For those of you that didn't know, if you are newer to the channel, like when I say newer, I mean even within like the last 2 years, for example, there was a period of time where I was strictly third person on this game. It's how I learnt the game in the first place, mostly because I originally came from MX Simulator, and the first person in MX Simulator genuinely makes me feel ill. Like I get a bad headache after even 10 minutes of trying it. So on that game, I always played third. So when I switched over to MX Bikes, I basically tried copying all the same, like similar settings, same controls on the controller, like inputs, and then try to make the third person similar as well, just having as easy of a transition from one game to another as possible. And then as time went on, I watched more and more people that were faster than me, like back in the 2020/2021-ish season, when people like Reese were at the top of the game and he played in first person. I'd watch him and be like, damn, this actually looks really, really good. So I tried changing things. There was even a period of time back in the day where I didn't even use rider left or right lean. So if you look at my controller on my right stick, so leaning my rider side to side here, irrespective of the bike on the right stick, I didn't do that. That wasn't even bound, because again, that's not something that you do in MX Simulator. You only lean forwards and back on Sim. And as you can imagine, it limited me a little bit, but the way the game played back then and how easy it was to flat track without really much rider input, you could get away with it pretty damn easy. Now, these days, you tend to have to give quite a lot more input into the machine to get it to do what you want. More so because everyone's just disgustingly quick now as well, so you have to be going as fast as possible to compete, and to do that you have to use all of the mechanics the game has to offer. But no, back then I just didn't lean at all. It was all in the left stick only, and then a little bit front and back on the right stick. Oh my goodness, that rut kind of messed me up a little bit there. There is a chance also that this is the last video that you get to put up with this old Logitech headset as well as my microphone. My new mic arrived today. I mean, it may have taken the entire day. I don't know if this changes from country to country, but when I get Amazon deliveries here in the UK, like this one, because it was an expensive order, you have to sign for it and give like a passcode at the door, so you have to be in. It's not like they can just drop it off and then you come home to it and it's fine. So you kind of have to hang around all day. I wake up this morning, bearing in mind it's actually one of the rare sunny days here in the UK. So I could go out with a walk with Linda, go to the card shop down the road because she likes buying some Pokemon cards for now and then. Couldn't do any of that because I had to sit there, wait for my parcel to arrive, and all it said on the tracker was, will arrive by 9 PM. If it said arriving at 9 PM, yeah, cool, don't mind, I'll go out and enjoy the day. But arriving by 9 PM means it can arrive at any time whatsoever. So I ended up getting here about, I think, 2:30 p.m.ish, so most of the day wasted, but not all of it. Who knows? Hopefully the Sunday will be just as sunny and enjoyable. We can go out and about and do some stuff instead of being cooped up inside all day. We need to have a little bit of talk about Seattle as well. Not in game. We're talking about the real life one. So if you haven't watched the real life Seattle racing just yet, please do pause this, go watch that, and then come back to it, because there are going to be some spoilers any second now. So we'll do 250s first. Absolute W from Cole. Like, it's so nice seeing one of us do well in real life. If you didn't know, Cole does play this game. I keep meaning to try and pester him in the DMs at some point and try and get him into a video, but actually he's a very, very busy man, actually succeeded in real life rather than succeeding virtually. And yeah, massive round of applause for him. Very, very happy for him. Cool to see him getting that checked off a list. Hopefully many more to come. Let's talk a little bit about the after race drama between old Deegs and Juju. Now, I have no issue with the pass that Deegan made. You know, he's kind of proven his point, a bit of back and forth on the old Instagram with Juju like posting that mugshot and things. Even though I don't really see that big of a deal with that, because everyone was posting that mugshot, so I don't know, I don't think there's too much drama with that. But I can then understand an aggressive pass almost being like, yeah, have that. What I don't understand is, for Juju, if you then get slapped after the race, how are you not yanking someone off their motorbike to the ground after that? If that was Anderson getting slapped there, Anderson's throwing Deegan around as if he was a toy. That's ridiculous. So yeah, Juju got told to basically sit down and take it like a good boy, which is quite funny, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he needs to give a little back. You can't be, I guess, barking and not biting, if that's the correct terminology for it. Then on the 450 side of things, I thought that could have been Justin Cooper's night. Now, I'm happy to listen to other people's opinions on this. When Sexton got past Cooper, I think, when Sexton got past Justin Cooper, that is, after passing Cooper Webb, I think Justin Cooper had more than enough speed to also pass Cooper Webb. There was a lot of times where he could triple into a corner and overtake him, where he just didn't. Yet, the next lap, when he wasn't close enough, he done it no problem. I'm not going to say team tactics. I know he's technically classed as like the B rider in that team, and he's probably good friends with Webb as well. But I generally feel like he was hanging back there. I really think that he could have had a P2, if not even won that, if he actually fully put his head down. I know he ended up crashing in the end, but it's one of them. It's butterfly effect, isn't it? If he passes Cooper Webb earlier on, then he might not have been in that same place in that same time to make that same mistake, to have that same crash, and you know how the universe works in weird ways. But does anybody else share that opinion, where it looked like he was holding back a little bit to not overtake and to help Webb out in the championship? Because that's certainly what it looked like for me. And then what I also don't understand is how Sexton could have such an absolutely dookie start. I swear he was like 20th going into turn 1. By the end of lap 1 he was in 6th. To then take over everyone, take the lead, and then not go any further in the lead. He just kind of got in the lead and stayed there. I don't know if it was bike setup. It did really look like he was struggling in the last handful of laps. Couldn't really triple for any of the rhythms like the other boys were able to. But that track looked absolutely brutal. Didn't rain like we expected it to, like we had in-game, but I really don't mind us. I mean, people were complaining about it not raining in real life, yet we had a mudder in-game. When have people cared about realism on these tracks before? We're playing on completely smooth tracks, for crying out loud. It's not realistic as it is. You know, Seattle should have been rutted to the max in-game, but it wasn't. We just got a flat track. So it had to be made exciting in some way with the rain, so I didn't mind it at all. If you missed my Seattle race on Friday, actually went really, really well. Big old choke artist Linda, as usual. I did get the whole shot, led for about 17 minutes, not a single mistake. Got very, very unlucky by barely casing a jump and getting sent over the bars, over a berm, which cost me a whole bunch of time. Tyler then took the lead, who also didn't crash the entire main event, and then I just fell back a little bit from there. And I finished in second in the end, which you can't be unhappy with. I just find it very frustrating that the only races I ever seem to do well in are the weird races. You know, if like Daytona, for example, very, very rutty, unlike all the smooth stuff that we've had. And then the one wet race that we get, I also do really well with also. I tried the Fantic in that race, and pleasantly surprised. I don't know if it will translate over well in the dry, but in the wet, Fantic was a pretty solid option. Just really nice and smooth on the power, but then also had good power also. So there was a very fine balance with that wet. Because you'd think, oh, maybe like the Suzuki or the Kawi will be good because they're down on power, so you won't slide as much. But it kind of had the opposite effect, to where they just didn't have enough oomph to get over like a simple triple coming out of one of the rhythms. So I mean, give the Fantic a go if you're bored of the usual KTM. Yamaha seems to be very meta right now. Everyone's slowly moving over to that. I suppose the Fantic is a Yamaha in a white dress at the end of the day, but it's still something a little bit different. Yeah, I mean, give it a go. I would recommend it. It rode very well for me, and there's some other massive Fantic enjoyers, such as like Jams and Quacks, for example, that are riding in GPs. I'm hoping that I've done this track the justice that it deserves. As you can see, it's not too difficult in terms of braking bumps or anything like that. The jumps are fairly simple. You just have to make sure you get a good run up and over them. The only difficulty really comes in making sure you don't blow out any of the ruts, because they're long, they're smooth, however they are a little bit on the shallower side. So you need to be just a little bit patient on the entry, and then you can really just start winding on the throttle the further and further around that you get. And as you can see, you can get like absolutely disgustingly backwards on most of these jumps. Accidentally 360, and my bad on that. And then there's some really fun creative stuff like going wide here. You do the little triple, downside this well enough, and you can just send this to the moon, get right over the front, little tap of the brake, get your little tyre taps in here as well, which I find super sexy, and overall just a very solid track. I always feel like I might undersell tracks like this sometimes, because we've got to the point now in this community where we've reached like a new standard of what we expect, and if a track like this released back in 2020, it would be the best thing since sliced bread. Like, people would lose their minds. And now it's almost like, oh yeah, just another run-of-the-mill Hurren track, but you do have to take a step back and appreciate good work when it is made, and I am certainly doing that. So thank you, Hurren, again, for continuously blessing us with more creations on this stuff. It looks good, it rides good. I love the little touches, you know, like having the puddles being changed to sand here and there. It almost sounds like you're going through a puddle if you go through it, and you have your volume cranked in-game just from the different sounds you get from going through different soils. And then these big old booters people must absolutely love. Look at me again. I don't usually get steezy, but the bike spends so long in the air, you can basically throw it around over which way you want. So, good stuff. W all around. So thank you very much for watching. Do go and check this track out if you haven't done so already and you like what you see. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace.